Well, joining me now to talk more about this is the president of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, Olajumoke Simplis. Thank you, madam, for joining us on the
Good
show.
morning.
Good
Thank you.
morning. Good morning.
Thank you
Well, the
for
country
having
is
me.
faced with a scenario of sharp drop in oil revenue. To what extent can we fill the gap with tax revenue?
We've been talking about it for quite some time, and I'm happy that even as we speak, the institution of taxation is waxing stronger. So I believe that is where we need to look at the structure of taxation, because our revenue is not it. So we look at taxation, and how do we look at taxation in this auspicious time? We need to also be sensitive even to the companies that are going to be paying the taxes. We need to look at what have they done, who have contributed, what can we give them in return for what they have done for us. How do we encourage them to do more? Like the companies that are paying highly, how do we encourage them to continue to deepen that payment, to strengthen their structure so that they don't go down with this crisis? So taxation should be it. Now we are also looking at a situation where government should give more to encourage. As an institute, we are saying, okay, remove the issue of minimum tax. You know, the Financial Act also said minimum tax should now be 0.05%. And we are saying even that should be removed so that you encourage the companies. We are also saying, yes, we have given enough in the Financial Act 2019. Okay, we can still give more. Because as we go on, nerves are frailed. Companies have lost a lot. So in driving taxation, we need to be sensitive. We need to use persuasive measures, not aggression. We need to engage the taxpayers in a very friendly manner. We need to give them the succor to know that even as we give, we expect more from you, and what we get from you, we are also going to plow back. So that also accounts for responsibility on behalf of government.
Yeah, now, how much of palliative should tax authorities actually give at this time, given that, well, the government is looking for revenue?
You have to continue to give palliative, because the foundation is shaking. You need to strengthen that foundation. This period will go. This crisis will go, and it is only the strong that will survive it. And how can the government strengthen the people to survive it? That is, for now, they are in difficulties. Encourage them. So give as much palliative as possible. And the banks also should come in to say, okay, you took a loan and we said, okay, the paying structure is starting from January. And because the company was optimistic in January, the company said, okay, yes, we will pay. But going down the line, 6 months into the year, nothing has happened. So the banks should also now sit down with the companies to say, let us restructure your loan. And the banks, I'm happy that central bank is also even coming in terms of this, should look at the interest rates on loans, at least for now. Things will get better. Things can only get better from now. It is only those who are not prepared that will go asunder.
Well, those companies would also be looking for survival strategy anyway.
Yes.
All right. Now, the value-added tax of 7.5%, that has been an issue. A lot of people have been against it. And then just yesterday, the House of Reps is saying no to the suspension of the implementation of this 7.0. Where is CITN in all of this?
I'm happy that the National Assembly has said no to it.
Why?
I am very happy.
But you want them to show compassion.
No, compassion on value-added tax is not it.
Okay.
So let me tell you, even Saudi Arabia is already saying, come 1st of January, value-added tax in Saudi Arabia is, as we speak, 5%. It's going to be increased to 15%. Come 1st of July. Now, why? VAT is tax on consumption. That is what Nigerians, please, can you understand this fact? Nigerians should understand the fact that value-added tax is a tax on consumption.
So you can choose not to consume.
Yes, you can choose not to pay. Look at this COVID time. Did I go to ShopRite to buy? No. I went to neighboring markets. Did I take my children to outfit to eat? No. I cooked in my house. A lot of people did that. So we didn't pay. If you go to ShopRite to buy, you will pay. So please, let us get it right. Value-added tax, in fact, is the veritable source of distribution of income. Because it is those who have the money to go and buy the vatable items. Please, we need to understand this. It is those who have the money to buy the vatable items, to buy the Hennessy, to buy the champagne, to go for smoked salmon, that will pay. If I buy the smoked Titus in the market, I will not pay. Let us understand that. So please, the issue of value-added tax, in fact, I'm happy that the National Assembly, they have seen reason. It is a true source of revenue redistribution. And I'm happy that it has stayed.
Okay, now, so let's look at tax revenue to GDP ratio. Is one of the lowest in Africa. Why is our tax revenue performance so poor?
Because we are not exploiting the tax system. We are not looking at the laws, and we are not implementing it as we should. Now, look at our economic structure. Look at our Greek. We have other sources. We have other sources. We have sources that can give us veritable source of tax. I was listening to Mr. Ajegbite this morning on minerals, solid minerals. That is the way to go. You could see that he is very passionate about it. He talked about private-public partnership, and he talked about people who are even artisan miners coming on board. That is what we should be doing. We should look at the integration. Look at the integration of our other sources of income. Agriculture. We should look at agriculture. The value chain in agriculture. The raw materials that we export. Why are we exporting our raw materials? Raw. We can refine our raw materials. We can repackage our raw materials before we export them. Cocoa. Why are we not producing chocolates? I was growing up in this country when cocoa industries in Ikeja there was producing cocoa, chocolates. We are here in this country when Cadbury was producing Chocomilo. We are here. These are the things we should be doing. We should be looking inward. Look at cassava. The value chain in cassava can produce ethanol. We can produce starch. We can produce industrial materials.
And you can tax.
Yes,
those.
We can tax those pharmaceutical materials for sale. We need to look at all these structures. This will create employment. From employment, will get taxes. The state will get taxes from employment. Companies will pay taxes because they will be producing. I'm happy they're talking about gold and our reserves going into gold. That is the way to go. I think this government is getting somewhere.
Okay, now let's look at the issue of multiple taxation. The business community, has been complaining about this phenomenon. What's your take on it? That's a big issue, really. And perhaps that's why a lot of businesses are finding it difficult to really meet up their obligations in terms of taxes.
Now, when you talk of multiple taxation, let me explain. There are some charges that you pay that people mistake for taxes. They are not taxes. Taxation is specifically what is stipulated in the laws. Nothing added, nothing taken off. But you will also know that the local governments have their levies and charges.
But how do you streamline those?
It is statutory for them to collect. It is statutory. It is statutory for them to collect. But what the Joint Tax Board is doing is to streamline those levies and charges. For example, Lagos State has streamlined its levies and charges to just maximum 10. And that is what JTB is doing. JTB is the Joint Tax Board. Minimize all these charges. Now let me explain. If I go out and I park my car and I'm asked to pay, it's a charge for that service, for the provision of that parking space. It's not a tax. If NAFDAC is going to a company to provide service, and because of the provision of that service, the company has to pay a fee. It is not a tax, it's a fee. If environmental ministry goes to a company to examine the environment of that company and say, okay, for violating environmental laws, you will have to pay.
Now, but what about the issue of company tax, education tax, withholding tax, import tax, excise duty, ports levy, automotive levy, ECOWAS levy, rice levy, all sorts of levies?
Those are taxes stipulated by law. They are taxes stipulated by law, which must be paid. You can't add to it. The law is law. You can't add to it and you cannot subtract from it.
So how does the CITM partner with government, on tax policy matters?
We are the one that control the profession of taxation in this country. And we are not just for government. We are not just for government. We are also for taxpayers. We are for our members. And what we do is, taxation is a living subject. When we look at what is happening, not only in our climate, also internationally, we interrogate it. We interrogate it. For example, the issue of stamp duties, as we speak, our technical department is interrogating that issue. And by the end of today, we are sending our report to the Joint Tax Board. So we will interrogate issues and then look at it and send our position to government. Most of the amendments to tax laws were our brain work from the Institute. We call, when we identify such things, we call stakeholders meeting. We hold town hall meetings. Okay, Manufacturers Association, SCCI, let's talk about this. What do you say? Then we take the communique from there and then look at it and package it, send it to government.
All right, thank you very much, Madam, for coming on the show. I'm sure it's a conversation that we will continue. That we have to continue to talk about, particularly now that the oil price seems to be
thank God
plummeting. Oh yeah.
Yes. Now we can talk about tax.
Taxation, right? Another way to go. But they just have to find a better way to really structure it so that businesses won't die paying taxes.
No, that is what we have said. We have said that we should now partner businesses and talk.
Right.
Persuasion.
Okay, thank you very much. Olajumoke Simplice is the president of the Chartered Institute of Taxation.